Burrows, and I'm going to be talking about Martin Luther King's assassination. I think this is a really interesting subject that I've spent a lot of time and research learning about. I have emphasis in my AA degree on history, so this has been a really important and interesting subject to me. I think it's really important as a future teacher to be learning about our history so that we can learn from it and not repeat it again. So today we're going to be talking about Martin Luther King and who his assassinator was and what happened shortly after the assassination of Martin Luther King. So to start with, Martin Luther King. So he was born on January 15, 1929. He went to a segregated school. That means that blacks and whites were separated, and he graduated at the age of 15. He then would follow his father's footsteps and his grandfather's, and he would go to college and get his BA degree at the same college. This was a black-only college. He would then, after he got his BA degree, go on to study for 3 years theology before he would again follow in his father's and grandfather's footsteps and become a pastor at a local Baptist church after his father passed away. He did that for a few years and then would eventually become the spokesman to the Negro movement, where he would talk about injustice, he would protest, and he would talk about action and what needed to change. The biggest thing he's known for is I Have a Dream speech that happened in Washington, D.C. during the march with 25,000 people, which is super cool. He ended up winning the Nobel Peace Prize, and all the money that he got during that he donated to the movement that he supported so much in trying to get the Negro movement going. However, he did die. He was assassinated on April 4th, 1968. He was in Memphis, Tennessee to help with a protest where garbage workers were striking because of inhumane things that were happening. And he was there in a peaceful protest to help them. He was standing on his balcony at his hotel and was shot. So, to give you a little background first on the guy that shot him and why maybe he shot him. The guy's name is James Earl Ray. He was born on March 10th, 1928. He was raised Catholic and he had lots of siblings, so he was in a big family. He ended up going into the army, and it was right before World War II, so he ended up being enlisted and ended up going to Germany, where he wasn't actually able to follow the military lifestyle and ended up getting drunk multiple times to the point where he actually got discharged. When he ended up back in the States, he ended up having some problems and stealing and got caught and ended up in jail. He would eventually be able to escape jail and run away to Mexico, where there's some other things that happened that weren't really important to this. He would eventually come back from Mexico to the United States, where he would assassinate Martin Luther King. You would think that he would, because so many people were around and were expecting something maybe to happen to Martin Luther King, because he did stand for something that a lot of people did not like, that he would have been caught sooner. However, it took them about 3 months to find him. What happened was he was in the bathroom with his rifle, and he stood in the bathtub and put the rifle against the window and shot Martin Luther King, and would grab his knapsack and run and see a cop and just drop it, and then just kept running. But the cop didn't know he was the one that shot him because he wasn't in the area at the time, and so he would get away. And what made it even more the difficulty is he had an alias, so he had a new name, and he was able to get a ticket to London and he flew to London, where they would eventually find him and catch him. He ended up getting a 99-year sentence. In that time, he ended up getting out of jail, like he escaped, and they were able to find him shortly after, which they added another year onto his sentence. However, he did not serve all those years because he died of kidney failure in the hospital. So, after the shooting of Martin Luther King, many people were upset and riots started everywhere. Over 100 cities started rioting, and 29 different states had to require National Guard to come into their states to take care of everything. It started because of the assassination of Martin Luther King, but it kept going, and the reason that it really got as big as it did was because the black community looked at Martin Luther King as hope, and when he passed away, they lost that hope. And segregation might have been illegal, but things were still happening, and justice was still happening. We have the white flight, where the whites were moving to the suburbs. Blacks were not able to get jobs that would be able to get enough money to be able to afford any good housing. So they ended up in the poor areas where police officers were brutally hurting them. So riots just occurred everywhere. It created a lot of problems, but it also started to change. And it was not something that Martin Luther King would have wanted, but the outcry was so bad that I think that's why we are where we are today. Without Martin Luther King's assassination, I don't think that enough people would have been willing to change as soon as they were willing to change. And that's my little piece on Martin Luther King's assassination. Thank you for listening.